So maybe we should introduce ourselves a bit, because I don't know if we've done that much on the channels. You want to go first?
Sure. Well, my name is Tice. On YouTube, my name is TravelingTice. Yeah, and I like to cycle, just like my friend here, the One Good Road.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing it. Well, I have been doing it longer than him, but not in the way that we're going to talk about today. Because I'm from Holland, he's from the UK. I think you started when you were 10 years old. First time you said on the
yes, but I'll explain that for myself later.
Okay. Well, I started cycling as soon as I could walk, so that's basically at like 4 or 3. I don't know.
I mean, you have an unfair advantage. You live in Holland, the bicycle capital city of the world. I mean,
but I think we also view it a little bit differently, because for me, it's just the way to go. Like, just when I before this recording, I was doing the newspapers, and I do that on an old crappy bike. But that's how I do it. Like, I go to my grandma with my bicycle. I do everything, and but also, the country is made for bicycles.
I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so envious, because in the UK, it's just kind of crap in comparison. We just have backcountry roads we can ride on, and that's basically it.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, they're okay, but it's not segregated, separate bike lanes, which I really envy. Maybe I'll introduce myself. I'm Joseph, and we're actually the same age. Tice and I are the same age almost.
I'm 18. Yeah,
I'm 19 here, and from the UK, born in the UK, but I've been living in places like Holland, France, California a little bit, and just kind of all over, and been doing bike touring for only about 3 years. And like Tice says, I've only probably started riding maybe when I was around 9 or 10. I'm not sure, because I actually used to hate the idea of even riding a bike. I was in a huge fear of riding bikes.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
cool.
that's me, roughly.
Yeah, I took a little more safer road in the regard of he started cycling and he's already been to all these places, and I just completed my first bike tour, which 3 months, and I was terrified for that bike tour. But it's you can see some chats. There are some people there. Can you see the chat?
I don't. Can I see? There is a chat there, but I don't know how to.
I can see it on YouTube. Hello,
you can.
Phil John, if you're still watching. I don't know.
Okay.
If it is, but...
if they ask questions, can you tell me them? Because I don't know how to load them on here.
Okay. Wait. Let's put the sound off, because
I had a bunch of comments actually from a guy who was asking on my New Zealand tour that I just did. Let me see if I can pull that up, and we can maybe answer some stuff.
Sure. If you have any questions, by the way, if you're watching, please leave them in the chat. I can see it here. Yes, Phil John is there. Hello, Phil John.
Hi, Phil John. Where is he from? Where are you from, Phil John?
I think he's from the UK. He leaves a lot of comments on my YouTube.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, feel free to subscribe to another great cycling channel.
And he is actually from the UK. I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, I actually have quite a bit of people from the UK. Also, Brighton dude. He's almost every YouTube video of me. He's from Brighton. He's from Phil John is from Swansea, Wales.
Oh, Swansea. Yeah.
Oh, Swansea. I'm so sorry.
I might have said that wrong myself, actually. That's near Brighton and Cardiff, kind of. Cardiff's not too far from it, I think.
I also have a friend from Cornwall. He said he was from the middle up in snow, so that's pretty cool.
Really? That's insane.
Well, not now. I think it was already a few weeks ago, though.
I'm trying to find the comments. Crap. It's kind of difficult to find. Come on. There it is. There's a guy called Oscar. It's OZ. Maybe I can. Oh, it's all probably backwards. I don't even know. Never mind. I'm not gonna even bother trying to show that again. But from Oscar, he's from Germany, I think. A very informative video. I see you used bike packing for your trips. And then he has a bunch of questions underneath that. I'll just start off with the first one. Is How do you transport your food and water, and what is the size of the bags? Are they enough for you? I think maybe we can answer these questions separately, because I use more or less bikepacking now, and you're using like traditional touring.
Traditional touring, yeah.
So
should I start with what I think? Well, how I transport it, it's just wherever I've placed, basically. So I just cram it wherever I can.
Yeah.
And sometimes I had times, like I actually packed my bags just a little too much. And I, when I go to a grocery store, I always look for like small, like just not whole breads. There was one girl in Norway, she was very nice, but she gave me 2 whole breads, but I can't do anything with it because it's not, doesn't work, so
I get what you mean.
I didn't eat as much as I could of that, but it's just, you gotta, I don't know, I just improvise. Sometimes it's there, and I do have kind of like my back, right pannier is kind of like my food bag, because that one is the emptiest one, but I just put it wherever I have place, and sometimes it really just goes on top of all of the bags in the back and just strap it underneath something.
Yeah, I mean, you put it wherever it kind of works, basically, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. It's just kind of the same thing with bikepacking. But I mean, one of the bigger advantages you have is that you can carry way more just things in general and food. And it's maybe a bit better for like, if you're, I don't know, touring in, say, deserts like the Gobi Desert or Australia, you can carry water.
Also, like, I don't know, your style is really, I don't know for sure, but I think, you want to go far each day, like 100 kilometers, 130 kilometers. But I just go like 30 kilometers and I say that's enough, So I allow myself to have some more stuff, but with that, you sacrifice distance, and aerodynamics.
I think it really depends on the type of touring that you want to do. For example, with New Zealand, I just picked up a crap mountain bike and put my really nice bikepacking gear onto it. But, that's not, I mean, it's not fast. It's still a mountain bike. It's still going to be quite slow to get through the country. And then when it came to the road bike, that was completely different. When I was crossing the United States on a road bike, I even had an aero bar on the front. So I was really aerodynamic in comparison. I really miss it, because I was able to do, like you said, 130 Ks on average a day. Compared to in New Zealand, I was doing, I don't know, maybe 60K on average, because sometimes I'll do, like you said, 30, and other days I might do 100.
That's also,
it's very mountainous in New Zealand, definitely.
Yeah, I had the same thing in Norway. I was like, my daily average was cut in half just because of the mountainous terrain. It's kind of crazy.
I just remember that as well. God, that was so irritating. Trying to get from Kristiansand to Stavanger, you can go along the coast, right? And that's slightly flatter. But if you take the inland route, you've just got to go up so many stupid little hills.
I actually did that part by train. I went from Stavanger to Kristiansand to Oslo by train. But I went from Oslo to Bergen, so I went like over the mountain plateau. That there's like a big nature reserve up there. There's like no trees. It's pretty alien-like. It was pretty cool to be there. But I had a headwind pretty much the whole way. And just the uphill was just crazy. So.
I mean, you also went in winter, which is a bit crazy in general. Like,
yeah, it was. I still don't have an explanation for that, actually.
Go in summer maybe, and then the sun will be up all day.
I thought that I will be fine. It will be nice. It will be warm somehow. I don't know what. I thought that climate change was going rapid fire right now.
And here you are in Holland, having to put up with the Russian whatever it's called.
Man, I got like my radiator is on full max. Well, I've got an old one, so there's like a knob that I can turn. But even though I turn it the slightest bit, it's already going really warm. So I think I'm going to put it off in just a bit. But it's -6 here, and it feels that feeling temperatures like -18 yesterday. So that's in March.
So we have another list of the questions on here. Did you miss anything in terms of? I think an item is one of the questions that he has. Not really off the top of my head. Maybe in general, what I think is that I wish I could afford the better stuff. That's always what came to mind. Like, it's like, oh, I wish I had a tent which was lighter and had less poles in it or something. Or I wish I had less of something. That I was always looking for, how can I have less of this? That's what I was always looking for, because with bikepacking, you're just generally trying to minimize the hell out of it, you know?
Yeah. Well, maybe you were in that less and less kind of spiral. I was in the more and more kind of spiral, because I had a one-man tent, but I had so much stuff that it just felt cramped, and I was like, I want a bigger tent. I want a 2-person tent, you know. And that's how I was doing it. It's weird, but
no, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, especially if you've got more space to carry stuff as well. You know, that helps a lot.
Yeah. But I listened to a podcast, and they said, if you just you want to do more distance, and then you want to have, I think, he was talking about this upward spirals, that when you have more stuff, you need a bigger tent, you need even more stuff, and it just goes up. So that's there
funny.
Needs to be a balance.
I wonder how I can. It's not gonna, like, I'm not trying to say that my version's better, but maybe I could suggest that with the minimal version of stuff, you have less things to worry and think about, and less to carry. I mean, it always, you're actually, in a way, you're gaining more by having less, sort of thing. If that makes sense, you know, you get to travel further. So this
but if I think about my camp stove, for example, like if I didn't have that, like in Norway, I would actually kind of recommend having, especially if you go in November, which no one does.
Yes.
I think when I go back, I'm actually kind of, I don't know, I'm hesitating to bring the camp stove again, because it was good, but it took a lot of time. And but in Norway, of course, it's also very expensive to eat out or at a restaurant. So then, with just a pack of beans, which was still like $2 or $3, I could just, make it myself. Yeah, it's still, it's still expensive, but I think I shaved off quite a bit of money that I could have spent if I didn't have that camp stove. But I've heard that in Romania, like a meal for $3 is like, you get a lot at a restaurant. So I don't know if I'm gonna bring it again.
Because you're heading south, it's going to be completely different. Plus, what season are you going in anyway?
Well, I try to stay kind of north in summer, so I'm gonna go back in May to Latvia, and I'm kind of gonna do like a zigzag. So I start first doing a bit of Eastern Europe, maybe going to Belarus. I'm not too sure yet, because with the visa situation there, it's kind of crazy. But then I want to go at least to Poland. There's like an East Poland bike route, because the roads in Poland are pretty shit. I think you've rode there.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Yeah. But there's like one cycling route in the east that I want to follow. They said that's okay.
Anything which is a cycle route is better. I mean,
yeah, that's why. Yeah.
I'm such an advocate for that.
All the way west.
I was just saying that generally I'm more of an advocate these days for people riding on bike paths or cycling routes versus riding on a highway. I used to do that.
Yeah.
I'll just ride on the biggest road because it was just cutting through the mountains, and I love that, but you're not safe. I mean, just generally after being in different accidents of being hit by a car and bike ran over, yada yada, it's just better to try and avoid the cars as much as you can.
As much as you can.
But I mean, generally with the route you're planning through Eastern Europe, I think it's going to be all right, because you'll have a lot of these small roads you can take, and wider tires. I mean, generally when I was going through there, I had a road bike which had something like the 23 millimeter tires, which is super thin.
I think I have 35 or something. I don't know exactly.
So the wider the tire, the better, I think, these days, which is funny. I never used to say that, but now I would, because then you can get off those really big main roads. And plus,
I had the exact problem that in Latvia, I had the exact problem. There was like one big road. It was already getting dark, and I was taking these back roads, but they often, you had a bit of paved road, but it wasn't really paved. It was like kind of coarse. And then there was this sign that said, watch out, the road is going to turn into shit right now. And that happened like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. And I was
sign saying, watch out, going to turn to shit. Careful.
No, it's just a road that's black and then it turns white or something, just dirt. That's what I call it. Yeah, it's just. But yeah, like then I decided to go to the main road, and it was actually quite dangerous. I think I made one shot when I was at the side of the road, and you could hear the trucks coming by each and every second. I mean, if there's just like one truck that doesn't watch his head, then I'm dead, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
to me, that's the most shocking part.
mhm.
I watched this really sad video about this kid around our age who got hit by a truck and died. And what happened was, generally, because someone did a whole kind of interview with the parents and the forensics about what happened to his whole body and everything, and it's just a whole shocking thing. And what happened was that he was riding on the main highway, and a truck just was driving 60
Yeah,
miles an
that's
hour, didn't even
crazy.
bother to move slightly, because in Mississippi, actually, you're supposed to have 3 feet of space. That's law. And I don't know what's happening with this guy, but he should be thrown in jail for what he did. And I just think it's shocking that people get away with these sort of things. I mean, it's
Yeah.
murder, effectively.
Actually, here
And
in Holland,
yeah.
they're trying to strict those laws. You know, right now when you're driving, you cannot look at your phone anymore. Like you can get sentenced for that if they bust you.
I mean, that's the thing. Like in New Zealand, I've been doing a bit of hitchhiking as well to kind of like see, obviously, what is the perspective of the driver and how are they driving, you know, and also very interesting to be in a truck and seeing how they drive as well.
Mm.
And generally, I've noticed that, no offense to New Zealanders, but they drive like madmen. I mean, or women, and they drive like 120 k's, even though the sign says 100 kilometers an hour or something.
Okay.
And generally, they're all going slightly over, just slightly, and it's just been dangerous in my opinion. And they're using their phones sometimes. Maybe they're lighting up a cigarette butt and like driving with their knees on the steering wheel.
Oh really? Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just, to me, it kind of is.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because one of my best friends here is actually a truck driver. He drives flowers around, so he goes to Belgium and then Germany, and it's pretty cool because right now he's actually having a promotion where he has like his own bed in the back of the truck, so sometimes he sleeps here and there, and he kind of likes it. And I actually joined him on one ride. He's not that bad because he's also our age, so he's also kind of conscious about it. But you can sometimes see, you know, like, well, he makes jokes about it. Sometimes he says, you know, I'm on his phone, or he's on his phone, and then he's like, you know, just take over the steering wheel. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that people, even generally, like if we're driving, if anyone is driving long distances, you're gonna somehow maybe get a little bit distracted. Maybe you're on your phone. Let's say the passenger is on their phone and looking up the route for where they're going to or something, and the driver's like peering over, looking to see what you're looking at. That's instantly you're being distracted, and it's basically, I think, down to human error in some ways. And that's why I'm really keen to see what these Tesla vehicles and cars in general with the automotive stuff in general.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because I think it's going to make it safer.
That's for sure. Because you do hear every now and then that someone was crashed in a Tesla.
Yeah, but it's all beta, you know, and it's going to get better.
That's why. Yeah.
I think one of the main problems, is that they can't distinguish the difference between a pedestrian and a cyclist and a car at the moment. Like cyclists, that they're like in between. As soon as you dismount, you're a pedestrian, but as soon as you're on the bike, you're on a bike or a car. So it gets confused. And I think it's going to get better as time goes by, and I think it will be a lot safer than a human being behind the wheel. But you know, I mean, I bet a lot of people who aren't happy with that idea at all. Has anyone commented, by the way? Maybe we should.
Yeah, I see Phil John actually asked some questions. Oh, he's really following us, which is quite cool. Thanks, Phil John, for being with us here. He asks, where do you both put your camping stuff?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know really what he means with that. Is it in your pannier or just in a pannier?
Personally, I have a Apidura large saddle pack, so that sits on the back of the saddle. It's like Normally you have like these little saddle bags which road or racers will use to carry inner tubes and small pump or something.
Yeah,
like
like a small pouch, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just sits underneath the saddle. Mine's like an extended version, and it goes way higher and bigger. I've made a bunch of reviews on the channel about it. It's a really cool design. And it's way more aerodynamic. GCN, the Global Cycling Network, made a video about that, which is really cool, about how aerodynamic the bags are compared to even a rucksack and panniers, which is really interesting.
Okay.
They're significantly watt saving. You save so much power using the bike packing versus anyway, very cool. And personally, with my camping stuff, I put it pretty much all in the rear. I don't know why, but I do, which is the large saddle pack, like I said. So I'll have the tent.
I think it kind of makes sense because you don't have to access it during the day, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It's funny that everything's just evolved over time, and I don't even think about it at this point. I just like load up the bike, ready to go. Don't even think about it.
I have the same thing, yeah. Well, I think for me it's going to be, something to get used to again when I go back. But yeah, once I think my setup or just the way I pack my panniers actually changed over my tour. In the beginning, I was, packing everything. I think I did make sections, which is also kind of recommended. Just, my camping gear, I think, was always in the rear left. Yeah, it was in the rear left. And that kind of stayed there. But there were some things that I, accessed a lot more, like my knife or my spoon, that kind of stuff. That kind of moved gradually to the front of the bike somehow, or things to the back. It's just,
because you need to access it or something.
Yeah.
It's
just, sometimes you think like, oh, I'm actually using this a lot. Why don't I just put it there?
Yeah.
And that's
I
how it works.
get that. So I don't know whether we're gonna maybe answer a few more questions on the comments, but I have still a load of comments from this Oscar guy from Germany.
Sure. Also, adds one more question where it says, "Were you both anxious on the road, fully loaded?" We kind of answered it. Well, I wasn't really anxious, but I've never been in an accident. That's the thing.
I think honestly, with the amount of kilometers that happen through certain countries, I think that accidents might happen and then they're inevitable. But the best thing you can do is to prepare and be as aware as you can in any situation. If you see anything happening, you just got to be like fully adrenaline, right? Leave the bike behind.
That's why this is also a cool thing. If you listen to music, I have this is a backbone conducting headphones, and they don't go in your ear. But they actually go in front of it like that. So your ears are actually open. So you can always hear what your like.
This is crazy. You should not ride a bike with a noise canceling headset. Just want to point that out.
That's also noise canceling. Yeah, that's the worst. Yeah, that's the worst. No, this is actually and the sound is actually quite good. It's kind of like having a speaker at the back of your head.
That's really cool. I'd love to try that. You should make a review about that. That's pretty cool.
I actually made a video. I'm gonna upload it tonight, maybe. I already made a video about it. So that's I'm
very cool.
Yeah.
So anxiousness, I think it really depends. I've met plenty of Germans who've been touring as well, thousands of Ks, but they don't care. They don't even want to ride with a helmet and high visibility. And I think that's kind of just crazy, in my opinion.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah. I don't know where they have been touring, but
I think they've been touring in like Singapore and Malaysia, Thailand, and I'm like, okay. Each to their own is the only thing I can play with that. And generally, just trying to keep yourself as visible as possible and things like that will help, I think, the driver psychologically, because he's like, oh, there's a good cyclist sort of thing. And wearing a helmet is second to none. I had my dad we were touring in San Francisco, and he fell off his bike. We don't actually know why or what happened exactly, but he fell off and he hit the ground pretty much head first. And if he wasn't wearing a helmet, he would have cracked his skull, and I don't know what would have happened. And they had an MRI straight after when he was in the hospital, and he had a hairline fracture along the center of his forehead. So I'm pretty grateful that he was wearing a helmet.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse, that's for sure.
Anxiousness, though, I would just say ride on the small roads, and it's better.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just
Yeah,
generally a
I
better
think
feeling
just
ride.
when you feel prepared, when you wear your helmet, you have all your reflection and stuff. I think you can be more assured that you're at least you are doing the best you can to be safe.
I think it, if you're in a country like Holland or Sweden or France, I mean, it's going to be a lot safer because people are used to bikes in Europe in general. The further east you go, the worse it gets, I think, in my opinion, like
I'm actually quite
Bulgaria
curious
and
for
so on
that.
and so forth. But especially most Western countries are pretty okay with bikes on the road because we're just used to it. In North America or anywhere in North America, they are certainly not used to it yet, and it's still really tricky to break into and to fix a lot of people's mentalities over there. But anyway, a few questions I want to shoot through on my phone.
I don't know how
here.
long this has already been going, but we don't need to edit it. That's the good thing.
That's the nice thing with it, right? Okay, but we'll try and maybe finish in maybe 5 minutes or something. I'm not sure. Keep it short.
I think we're about half an hour in now, so I don't know when you want to go to bed. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, he is 12 hours in front of me. Like, it's 10 a.m. right here, but it's 10 p.m. right there. So.
And it is, I don't know what the date is there, but it's the 20th here.
Oh, that's the same. That's the same.
Oh, okay, so once it's midnight, then it changes.
Yeah. So my day is about to start or just starting, and you have already had this day, basically.
Which is really weird. Anyways, so he says, do you recommend any high-end clothing like merino shorts or jackets, etc., or can I use low-end equipment? That's from Oscar, the guy from Germany. I think that merino will be kind of cool, depending on how much money you have. I mean,
I've never had that.
It's always, I think it's a ratio with how much you can afford. If you can get at least a basic tent, then you're going to be fine, and it's a tent at least. And then if you have extra, then why not spend the extra money? I think always you should spend the extra money if you can, because that quality is going to last you longer, and it's better for the touring. It's quicker to use, and it's just efficient, and it's quality. And if you can't get that stuff, that's going to be fine. You can still do generally all of the tours that you want to do and all the stuff that you want to do.
We were just talking about Decathlon. I think they also have that in Germany. Like
they have it all across Europe.
Yeah, okay. So that's just cheap outdoor stuff. And if you just, like, if there are things that really you need to have good, like a good shirt or something, then, spend the extra money on it. But if you have stuff that you don't really regard as that important, then you can save some bucks on it, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. Decathlon's perfect, actually, for that example. I made reviews on my channel about the B-Twin bike from Decathlon, and it's just a solid, good bike for the price. I think it's only like 300 euros at the moment. Wow. And it's insane. And it's a good road bike. But it's not brilliant, but it's okay, which is really weird. Another one of these questions are, how was the low gear good enough for the mountain biking that I did on the South Island? Well, we'll kind of play with that question further than the South Island, of course. I'm planning to buy a gravel bike, and I'm not sure if the lowest gear will be enough. Most bikes I have are a maximum of 34 to 42. He's referring, I think, to the front ring having 34 to 42 teeth on the rings. I'd say that's generally fine. The mountain biking that I had, the mountain bike in general, the low, was the gear low enough, or is he explaining the bike itself? The bike itself was fine. You can still tour on a really crap bike. It's just generally going to maybe last a lot less longer, as that's what I found. Everything wore out faster. And then in terms of gears, I would seriously recommend, and if you're in New Zealand, to have low gears so that you can climb some of these pretty steep climbs. They're up to 25 and 30% sometimes off-road.
Oh, 25? Okay, that's quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand has the quote-unquote the steepest road in the world in a place called Dunedin, I think. And it's up to 30%, 35%.
Wow, that's crazy.
But, like you've been in Norway and in San Francisco,
California. I'm not really good with how many gears. I think mine at the back, the biggest ring has like 36 teeth.
Something.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. I never. Well, I had I think 2 occasions where I had to walk my bike. So they these gears are made for touring, so they're low. You spend maybe a little extra money for that. Actually, on my recumbent bike, I didn't have that. I had like the ring on my recumbent bike was like twice as small, so I wouldn't have made those mountains at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I had 2 occasions where it was like that steep, and it was a course, and it was like a dirt road going to a shelter. I think I had a photo on my Instagram where my bike was flat on the ground. Have you seen that one? You commented on
yes,
that one.
I have seen that one. Yeah.
That was I think one of the 2 times where I can't remember the other one though. That was like also like maybe 30% up, and it was dirt, so it was just no go. And also like pushing the bike to it was like impossible, so I had to lay down and carry all my bags to like the shelter that was like 200 meters further. But yeah, I never really had to walk or stop. I think I never really had that.
I think it really depends on the whole scenario and situation of what's going on. Is it raining and you can't even get traction on the wheel while you're on a sandy dirt road, and it's pretty steep or something, or maybe it's very icy and you really shouldn't be riding. It really depends on
how much gear you have with you.
Yeah, the weight that you're carrying up those hills. I noticed that when I was in Sweden riding with this guy from Germany, there are so many German cyclists, it's unbelievable, but power to you. But he had way more gear than me. He had basically the same setup as you. I actually used his if you notice, I have this video on my channel where it's called like top 5 apps for bicycle touring or something, and the photo is that guy's bike. If anyone's interested.
Oh, really? I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I'll look at it in a second.
But it's standard touring setup, and he's carrying way more weight than me. I think he was carrying at least 30 kilos or something, and I was only carrying about like 10 kilos or something like that.
I think I was carrying 40, but yeah, that's a little overkill.
That is very overkill time. Oh my god, you really need to minimize the hell out of your setup.
I know. I already I had a solar panel with like 1.5 kilos, didn't work. My laptop is like 2 kilos, but it's pretty much dead, so I'm gonna replace that one with a much lighter one too. Yeah, it's but hey, it's sometimes you gotta learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, I know. That's what comes with any journey. I mean, that's what a journey is. I think is just going through all these experiences. But
I have some questions here, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you want to? Yeah. There's a new Rune Rex. Hi guys, nice to see a bit of collaboration. What is each of your favorite pieces of kit? Ooh, that's a nice one.
Kit. Do you mean generally like clothes, or do you mean gear?
I think just anything. I think like the most useful thing that you wouldn't go without on a bike tour, I think.
Oh, okay. I would have to say my phone, to be entirely honest. I've used it for the beginning of my tour, and to this day, I'm still using my phone. If I go for a road, just like general road cycling or mountain bike where I'm not carrying any gear and it's just cycling, I will still take my phone always, because it just I have the tracking on here. I've got my maps. I can contact people. The list is endless what you can do with this thing. It's like a Swiss Army knife, but technology wise.
Yeah, it's like the Swiss Army knife nowadays, basically. I think I first wanted to say my camera, but what you said there was actually way better.
Yeah,
because my camera can only capture something, but your phone also has a camera, all this stuff. Yeah, I would agree. And you like mine has GPS, it has offline maps, so you won't get lost.
Exactly.
Basically. So I would say I think definitely, but there are people that go without a phone. Like I don't know
paper
how.
maps and everything.
Yeah, paper maps probably. Yeah.
I personally don't like it, but that's maybe they were born into an era. Some of them were where they don't have smartphones and they're used to using paper maps. because back in the day,
I was actually almost going to paper map, but no, I don't know why, but I wanted, like, some people. I think I was really fed up. Like, Google Maps, it wasn't really it for me, and I didn't find any good maps. But then you said, these apps, or I found the Locus app. I don't know if you've downloaded that one, but that's like it's kind of like OSM, so like OpenStreetMaps.
Yeah.
Same, but you cannot make routes on it, but you can, like, the national cycle routes or the European Eurovelo routes are also on there. So you can just follow like a blue line, and it's perfect.
Right. That's just called Locust.
Locust, yes.
Locust.
And then, well, Locust doesn't have any maps by itself, but you can download them from a website. And you have the road map, but you also have the special cycle map. So you have your cycle routes on it.
OpenStreetMap, the app I use, does have that same
I tried it out.
feature as well. I think.
Does it also have the cycle routes on it?
Well, the way you're describing it with the Eurovelo sounds pretty cool. I'm not entirely sure if you can get that same thing on this, but it's a map called Cycle Map on the options.
Okay, and then it might be. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, do you know how long we've been recording for? I have absolutely no idea.
38 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I think. So I don't know what you want to.
I don't know, because
Sure.
Because I think that most people are going to watch it for maybe 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, probably.
Move on to the next thing, right? And then, it'd be great if we can maybe, if I could even improve the quality of this camera, for example, in the future and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think this format, just like a live stream, and then later you're gonna upload it. I think that's pretty good, because it it works pretty well. I still see some questions popping up from Phil, John, and Roomrex. We're gonna write them down, and then next time we can answer those.
Yeah, because I've still got loads more on here.
Oh, you also have a lot more. To be continued, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's it for now, I think. Yeah. So subscribe. Definitely check out Tice's channel if you're on the One Good Road one here.
And another way around as well. If you're on my channel, you can always check out the One Good Road. I think, we do have a different style, but it works,
In the end, it's cycling. We're all going to get it, right? We've all got our own opinion, but, it's still cycling.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Anyway, it's going to wrap it up for now.
Yeah.
Okay. Ciao, guys. See you guys
Goodbye.
in the podcast. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.